And we are joined by the man, the myth, Mr. Mark Verma. How you doing, Mark?
Hey, doing great. Great.
Excellent. Excellent.
Happy to be a guest today.
Uh-oh, Mikey's got his pointing down. That took us about 4 hours one night to figure out which way to point to get people to, good times. Modern technology.
Right.
Oh, man. So, Mark, I know you've been a busy man. I follow Paws in the City and appreciate everything you do. I know Mikey's kind of excited about this show you got coming up.
Absolutely.
We were talking about Intercore merch and things of that nature. What's going on Saturday night?
You want me to start, Mikey? Or
yeah, go for it.
Okay, Anyway, we have our first event. It's the first Paws in the City event since March 8th of 2020. So wow. I know. And what better way to do it? The pandemic hit. I mean, we were the March 8th event was a pretty cool event. It was with the Dallas Symphony Orchestra, and we had artists and photographers and all kinds of cool stuff. But I think that if after a year we need to maybe go crank up the classical and maybe bring a little bit of rock and hard rock and metal to it, right?
There you go.
So anyway, we've got a really good show planned for this Saturday night. It's at Trees. Doors at 7. Show starts at 8. And the lineup is Johnny Solinger will be headlining it, and then other bands will be Low Side, Intercore, Bull by the Horn, and Mile Zero. So it's going to be some of my favorite bands like Intercore. I've got to mention them because I never miss them. And Low Side too. Intercore and Low Side are just two premier local bands, and then Mile Zero and Bull by the Horn are good friends of ours as well, and very big dog lovers. So, but with Johnny Solinger headlining, that's going to be a pretty cool deal. He's going to sing some covers, so and whatever else we can talk him into singing, but he'll definitely rock the stage, and it's all for a good cause. It's only a $10 donation. That donation goes to Paws in the City. We are all volunteer. I know we'll talk more about this as things kind of go on the show today. But we're an all volunteer organization. We're a 501c3 nonprofit, but all volunteers. So every dollar that goes to Paws in the City goes to vet bills so that we can save more dogs.
Yep. Awesome.
So if someone's never been to one of your events, what can they expect Saturday night? Are you going to have dogs there? What's the setup like from Paws in the City perspective?
There will not be dogs there.
Okay.
Maybe we can. Maybe we might have one outside on the side area. Trees is not really conducive for having dogs there. So it's with the volume of the music and everything. But we'll have plenty of dog. We'll be feeling the presence of them.
That's right. And also, all of the merch sales for Intercore, half of that we're donating to Paws in the City too. So for anybody who wants to buy some merch and also for a good cause, you'll be helping out Paws in the City as well.
So buy lots of Intercore merch.
There you go. I'm sure Amy's been busy.
We have koozies. Worked very hard to get some new merch specifically for the show. Just this week we made our Paws in the City Intercore koozies. We'll have sign framed Intercore CDs that are new. Shot glasses, pint glasses, just
you name it.
Stuff.
Awesome.
It's gonna be a good show.
Nice to see local music back in Debellum for sure.
Absolutely.
Boy, Ned. Yeah.
So what time does the show start, Mark?
It starts at 8:00. Doors at 7, and the show starts at 8.
Music starts at 8.
All right.
Dang. Can't believe March 8th was the last time you guys had an event. And didn't y'all have something at the Blue Light?
We did. We did. That was in December. That was December 22nd of 2019.
Okay.
So.
I remember that. Didn't Jacob Pierce play?
Jacob Pierce played. Paco did too with his band, and Johnny actually played at that one as well. Johnny loves playing our shows, so
respect to the dog lovers.
Absolutely.
Yep. Oh man.
Yeah, so, I mean, just to think back at that, who would have thought,
right,
how things would have changed? I mean, we're a year into it, so we all know that. We don't all need to be reminded of that. But goodness, it's been a year. I mean, it's like I've been a year with very limited live music that's been available, and at times none, and most of the time none.
So what has changed for the way you do business, Mark, in the last year? What have you guys had to change or adapt due to the pandemic for Paws in the City?
We definitely had to pivot, and we had to do it quickly, because when the first thing that happened is there's no events, and there's two types of events that we do. We do adoption events, and that's where people come out and meet our dogs, and we'll typically be at a restaurant, bar, or a retail establishment, or some dog related business, or all types of different creative places that we've figured out to have adoption events. But people can do a meet and greet and meet our dogs and see our dogs with their fosters and get to know them a little bit to see if they want to put an application in. So there's adoption events, and then there's fundraisers to raise money. So our main thing that we've done from a fundraiser standpoint is we've had to make sure that we have really relied heavily on social media and heavily on contacting people different ways, because we did have a few virtual events here or there, but the most important thing that we did was social media. Excuse me, social media to do that. And adoption events, one thing that surprised us is that the adoption rate has been in record numbers. And that's because people were staying at home and wanted to adopt dogs. So on the adoption side, the shelters started emptying out, and we have had record numbers on a monthly basis. And so the adoption part of it's been good. But we've still had to be creative in how to do that. I mean, people would put an application on a dog they haven't even met, and so we'd have to do like a COVID-friendly meet and greet, and we still do all the other steps that we do in terms of adoptions, and we'll talk more about that. But
you brought up a great point. I didn't even think about that. With everybody at home, either working from home or maybe unfortunately out of work, why not take that opportunity to adopt a dog, train it, and kind of develop it? That's kind of something I didn't even think about, but that's really cool. I like that.
The shelters filled up initially the first couple weeks of the pandemic, and that was back in March 2020. And we got really nervous that we're going to have a really mess on our hands, and because people were changing their housing situation, or they were getting laid off from their jobs, and they're dropping dogs off. Hey, what do? You drop your family members off to a shelter, right? So because dogs are family members. But anyway, that went on for a couple of weeks, and then just something magical happened. Something pretty cool happened, and that was people staying at home saying, you know what, I need a companion here, or I need an additional companion here, or I need an additional dog to join the family. And that's what happened. And our focus has always been on rescuing dogs that are scheduled to be euthanized in overcrowded shelters. And then we also take in the sick and injured. And as the shelters started getting empty, and we started really helping out, trying to help out the shelters to get to empty out as well. And of course, we continue to take the sick and injured in.
That's awesome. I see Keith Watson has joined us. He graciously donated. I don't know. We'll have to figure out how that works, Mark, but we set up a donation feature on the Facebook page, and I think we've raised like $120. So
How about that? Well, I want to thank Keith because he's a regular donor to Paws in the City. Thank you.
That's awesome. Appreciate Keith.
I saw his name flash there. I was in the middle of a sentence as it flashed by.
Yeah, Mikey's playing with his buttons there.
Oh, is that what's going on there?
Yeah.
So we he'll throw anytime we get a comment or anything like that. Michael throw that up there so that we can see it.
Yeah, he's got more gadgets going on than I even
Oh,
know
you
about.
can only imagine what he's looking at. Yeah.
I see that. I see that look on him. He's got more coming to come, I believe.
Yeah. Mikey and his toys.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
That's what they say.
About what?
Boys and their toys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's what it was.
Scare me there.
How nobody else caught on to that.
Right. Lord, miss you guys.
Yeah, we're just getting ramped up again. We haven't done this. We also have not had a show. And when was the last time we had a show?
It's been over a year.
Yeah.
It was right at a year when we ran our last test a week or two ago. So yeah. And we had only had a couple in 2022 or in 2020 before everything kind of hit the fan. So yeah, this is really our first time getting back in the groove.
I feel honored to be here.
We appreciate it. I know you stopped by one time, brought a pup with you there at Casa de Future Bernal there. And
absolutely.
Yeah, that was a blast.
Right on size.
Once you guys get that house with the picket fence, Mark's going to hook you up with a couple of dogs.
I told a friend that I was doing this tonight, and I was like, it's our friend. He runs Paws in the City. They're a dog rescue. He goes, oh, I didn't know that you were into the rescue dogs. It's like, what? Did you think that I didn't have a heart? And
right. What did you
don't care. He's like, well, that's not what I was buying. Well, I don't know how else to take that.
That's how I took it. So Mark, how many dogs do you have? Not rescues, not fosters. Mark's personal pack.
Well, so currently I have 4 dogs at home. 2 are mine and 2 are fosters. Gotcha. And I had 3, and my lead dog went to the Rainbow Bridge late last year. So he was with me for many years and helped me with my fosters and attended events and introduced bands on stage and wore tuxes to greet people at galas. And so I'm looking for somebody else who wants to step in those big shoes that Buddy left. So big paw prints that he left. That's awesome. But Buddy's he's running around in a big field waiting for me, but I'm not in any big hurry to get there.
Don't get there too quick, buddy.
Knock on wood. But,
how many of your dogs started as fosters that are now your own dogs?
So yeah, I have 4 dogs at home. 2 are mine and 2 fosters. I usually have anywhere from 4 to 5 dogs at home. I take in emergency fosters, so you never know when a new foster is going to show up. I'm always ready for a new one, just in case there's an abuse neglect situation at night, or there's some type of things happen. So but normally I'm in the 4 to 5 range.
And I know Penny was the foster that became yours.
Yeah, there's a term in rescue called foster fail.
That's what I would be.
And
has a foster fail.
Yeah, right. And it's a common term, and I've never really everybody's like, it's kind of a weird term, or I don't really like but it's stuck. It's very common. And a foster fail, as the name implies, you're fostering a dog, and unbelievably, that dog decides to be a part of your family, and the feeling's mutual, and it all works out that way. And of course, that's why we're always looking for fosters. Yeah. And the reason why we don't have a facility, we don't have a shelter or anything like that. We're actually rescuing from shelters, right? So the first thing that happens when we bring a dog in is we take care of all of its medical issues, vaccinations, spay, neuter, microchip. And then from there, it goes to a foster home. Now, why are we always looking for fosters? Well, I've got a core group that's always fostering, small core group. I mean, they always fostering, and really helps us out quite a bit. So I'm always looking for a new foster. New foster comes in, and what do you know? They end up adopting the dog. They said, Mark, no problem. We can still foster though. So they foster a second dog, and then they end up adopting it. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's, I mean, 2 dogs found their home, and all is well. But that's explains why we're always looking for fosters, though, because we have a lot of foster fail is a real thing.
Wow. So you mentioned you guys are constantly doing rescue, and I see all those pictures all the time. Just some of it's heartbreaking, but how do you guys get notification of these things? Are there people in the community that reach out to you? Here's a perfect example. Yeah.
That's Eli right there. Eli, that's a before after picture of him. Man. And on the before, Eli's got mange, and he's got a number of medical things going on, but the main thing that's going on is mange. And mange is a very, very, it's a disease that is really rough on dogs because they lose their hair. They're miserable. You can see where his skin is red from him scratching and stuff like that. And it's caused by a mosquito carries that and injects, and when it bites the dog, it injects that in them. It's something that only affects dogs because it doesn't affect people. People don't really get mange, but it's just a dog thing. And we don't catch things from dogs, and dogs don't catch things from us, but it's just something. But the good news is it's easily treatable. It's a heavy duty medication, and the dog's got to be given a lot of medicated baths for a while, but they really blossom and become just this beautiful dog, when the hair grows back and everything.
Yeah.
And not to mention feel better.
Yeah.
So how are you locating these dogs? Who's
Good question. So we do have volunteers at shelters across DFW, and the shelters that we're not volunteering with, we have relationships with those shelters. And relationships from a standpoint, if there's a dog that's code red and needs to get out, there's notifications that are sent out to rescues. But we just make sure that we have built really good relationships with the shelters throughout Dallas-Fort Worth area. And really we extend to a lot of North Texas because, we've been taking in dogs for all the way up to Sherman and all the way to Stephenville when you go west, and all the way to east to Quinlan, and all the way south to Waxahachie. So, but our primary emphasis is Dallas-Fort Worth. And it's the relationships with the shelters. And that was a hard thing to build because there was a time when shelters thought of us as the enemy to them. It was a long time ago. It seems like a long time ago, but 15 years ago, 20 years ago. But now shelters have realized that we can be their best friend. We're trying to help. And it's all about attitudes that have changed in the shelter environment, and rescues that are working effectively, like Paws In The City with shelters.
That's awesome. So walk me through the process. And I asked this for a personal reason. Tried to convince my mom that she needs another dog here in the next 4 to 6 weeks. How does somebody go about adopting a dog from Paws In The City?
So let's see, normally you would meet a dog at one of our adoption events, and we'll get back to doing adoption events soon. But if there's a dog that you're even vaguely interested in off of our website, then what you do is you put an application in. And the adoption application is we have somebody that's going to contact the person, and we'll have some screening questions on the application. But a lot of it is to also to figure out a good fit in terms of what the person's looking for in a dog for them. Now, like in the days when we're doing adoption events, people can kind of have a lot of latitude in selecting what dog they think is, a good fit for them. But right now, while we're kind of getting out of this no event thing, we help out a lot on that. But on the adoption event, we do a home visit and a vet reference check. So if you've had existing dogs, we do a vet reference check on that. And on the home visit, what we're looking for, if you live in a house, we're kind of mainly checking the fence. That's kind of the main thing we're doing. If it's an apartment, we're checking with the landlord on breed restrictions and weight restrictions and stuff like that. Because there are some apartments that have rules on and limits on what they do. Yeah, 40-pound, 25-pound breed restrictions, that kind of thing.
Very cool.
So we'll do that. So once that happens, then we do. We'll bring the dog over. We'll help with the intro. If you have existing dogs, we help with the intro and all that. We're used to doing intros. We've done thousands of them over the years, so we're very good at doing those, and we help out with the intro. There's a whole process on introing dogs and watching their body language and letting them just kind of get to know one another, on a walk outside of the house instead of barging in and, dogs going nose to nose and like, what are you doing in my house?
Yep.
So anyway, and then the key thing, the big thing after that is there's a 3-day play date called a play date where the dog stays at your house for 3 days. It's not a hard and fast 3 days. Usually within a day or two, you kind of know if the dog is a good fit and you want to keep him or her in your house.
Yeah.
If it's not a good fit for some reason, or you need a little more time, or it turns out not to be a fit, then it's that the dogs are always welcome back at Paws in the City. And the adoption's not finalized until the play date is successful.
And all this information you can get on pawsinthecity.org, right?
Yes, most of it. I'm giving you a little additional here and there.
So they can go, you can donate, adopt. There's all the information they need on the website here.
Absolutely.
So if anybody, is at all interested.
Let's talk about donating, because the first time I think I donated, it was a bag of dog food. So it doesn't always have to be cash donations, right?
Right. It does not always have to be that. In fact, on our home page, we have our Amazon wish list, and scroll down and you can see our Amazon wish list is right there. And that is things that we need in terms of, it'll be like collars and certain kind of collars and leashes and food and dog food and that kind of thing. All types of things like that. So if there's actual physical things that you want to donate to us, we have, like I said, we have an Amazon wish list, and you can click on that to do that. And then if you want to donate monetarily, and that's a big thing for us because that goes to vet bills, and the more donations we have there, the more dogs that we can save, because there's vet bills that are for every dog that we save. I know I mentioned earlier, but we take care of all medical expenses, all medical issues, vaccination, spay, neuter, and microchip. And we have never shied away from taking in the sick and injured. And as a example, right now, we've got numerous dogs that have had surgery. When you go to our website, you might see, depending on what day of the week it is, 20 or 40 dogs available for adoption in that range. But really, we've got over 60 plus typically. And that's because we have dogs that are not available for adoption yet. They've had hip surgery. They've had a broken leg put back together. They've had, they're going through treatment for heartworms, which is a 6-week process. They're all types of medical. We don't shy away from any of that. We're always having dogs that are going through and various types of surgeries and or medical to get them back 100% healthy.
So Mark, real quick on because we talked about Amazon, and I did this the other day, and I don't even remember what it was. But on Amazon, there's a way to go in there and select like your charity of choice.
Amazon Smile.
Amazon Smile.
Thank
Amazon
you.
Smile. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's also a feature that they can go out to Amazon and select Paws in the City as the charity that you want to donate to through the Amazon Smile feature. So that was pretty cool.
That is cool, and it doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah, I was looking at it. I didn't realize. Apparently, my wife had already set it up for something else, and I apparently trumped that. But it was cool because you can actually see. It'll show how much you've donated or contributed to the charity of your choice. So that's really neat to see.
It's typically 1% of your purchase, but when you go on to Amazon Smile, it's the same website as Amazon. It's just called Amazon Smile, and a percentage of your purchase goes to the charity that you've identified. And whether that's Paws of the City or whatever your favorite charity is, it doesn't cost you anything extra to do it. It's just something that Amazon does, and everyone should take advantage of that. Go ahead, Amy. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on you.
No, you're fine. It's stuff that you'd already be buying. I know I personally support Paws in the City quite a bit with my Amazon purchases. We multiple times a week we have Amazon packages coming to our place, so we've donated a decent amount from Amazon Smile.
I noticed our quarterly check's been getting bigger, so thank you very much.
the Brunel house.
Always glad to help.
Feel free to go shopping all you want on Amazon Smile.
There you go. So another question I had for you, Mark. How did you get started with Paws in the City?
So Paws of the City, or me personally? Let's go
with you personally. That's what I want to hear.
Okay. I was So Paws of the City started with Katrina, and we were rescuing dogs out of Katrina and bringing them back to Dallas, and set up databases and reunited them with their owners. And many months later, there were a few dogs left over, didn't have a home, or maybe something happened to the people, what have you. And those became the original dogs in Paws of the City. And I was there at the beginning, but I was kind of just volunteering around. I was just volunteering at different types of organizations and all. And I had something that really just humanized it for me. And if it wasn't this one case, it would have been another case. But it was an abuse case, and it was a really, it was just something that really got me and really just pushed me to go into nonstop rescue. And I've just been doing it ever since. But I don't know if you want me to tell you what the story was, but
no.
Well,
bring it out. We got time.
Okay, get your tissues ready, man. No, it's happy in the ending. But anyway, so I was going up to Oklahoma, to Burn Flats, Oklahoma, to bring back some puppies that on a kind of an emergency situation. And what had happened is that there was a mama dog and her puppies, and they were under a shed, and she was nursing and taking care of the puppies, and then she would go out and look for food. Seen this many times. I've rescued dogs out of Oak Cliff and their puppies, and I've got lots of situations like that I've done over the years. And anyway, she knocked over a garbage can accidentally and got herself shot 4 times. So that's the sad part about it. She ended up in the vet, and the vet's working on her, and she's still okay. was working on her. And we went and found the puppies, and we brought the puppies back. And as soon as she saw the puppies, she smiled and passed away because she knew that she knew we had the puppies safe and sound, and it just humanized it for me.
Yeah.
You know, it made it all. It just humanized, and from that moment on, and if it wouldn't have been that, it'd have been something else. Because I mean, the next week there was a dog that someone had thrown acid on and burned the dog. The dog lived. The dog is happy as could be now, but it burned part of the body just really badly. And you know, it had been that one. I mean, there's just, you know, some people suck. You know, I mean, we all know that. And those are examples of people that are way beyond suck. I mean, those are people that are just, you know, I have no use for in this world. But those are the kind of things. So then, you know, roll the clock forward a little bit. So now I'm in Oak Cliff, and there's a dog that we've named Jade, and we're following her. And because we see that she's nursing, and so we're following her through Oak Cliff, and she makes her rounds through Oak Cliff, and she knows who to ask for food, or she knows who to go up to. And there's just certain people every day. She's got a routine where people are taking care of her. And then she goes back, and I followed her back, and she let me follow her back and go through a fence, the back fence, and there she is under a shed with puppies. And I'm like, wow, deja vu, right?
Wow.
So I go knock on the door. I'm like, there's no food, no water, nothing. Just fend for yourself. And there's a winter storm on its way in a couple days. The weather's going to turn. So I go knock. There's bars on the door and everything. Guy comes to the door, and kind of bug-eyed and stuff. And I just asked him about the dogs in the back, and he goes, "It's none of your business." And I said, well, it's my business to a point where, I mean, they're not being cared for. There's no food. There's no water. And he goes, that's none of your business. So I said, well, I'm just going to call animal control and law enforcement, and we'll just straighten it out there. And he looks at me and goes, no, please don't do that. Go ahead and take the dogs. Take them. Wow. Take them. And I'm like, have fun with your meth lab you got back there.
Oh, man.
And the puppies and Jay jumped in my car, and we're so happy. And so, you know, and you know, at that point we're off and running in rescue. So
thanks, Sue.
Thank you, Sue. Mama Bernal.
Oh, I recognize that last name.
All right. Oh, that's so cool. Amy, did you have anything you wanted to?
Donation button.
That's really cool. I have to figure out how that flows over to you after the show. Make sure you get everything. So I may reach out to you when we're done here just to ensure that's processed correctly.
No problem.
Yeah. So along with the Amazon Smile, I know Kroger also does the donate to the charity of your choice. I don't know the Paws in the City. Those. Is there any other grocery stores, things like that Paws in the City on the list?
For anybody that shops at Kroger, you can, on your Kroger card, you can identify Paws in the City as your charity of choice, and costs you nothing. And Kroger will donate 1% of everything you spend to Paws in the City or to your charity of your choice. So
we're just selfishly saying,
yes, we prefer to go to Paws in the
City. Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
So, Mark, you mentioned some of the work you guys have done, kind of the east, south, northwest areas of DFW. Are there other branches of Paws in the City, or plans to expand it to maybe in Oklahoma or Louisiana or anything like that?
It's possible. We've got a goal that we really are striving for, but that doesn't mean that we can't expand. And we've actually have people in Houston that I've talked to I've also talked to people in our other surrounding states, especially Louisiana and Oklahoma. And our roots are in Louisiana too, as far as how we started with Katrina.
Right.
But it's definitely possible. But we have a goal, and our goal is that the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and we'll just say the Dallas-Fort Worth area becomes a no-kill city, no-kill metropolitan area. Currently, there's 2 cities in the country that are no-kill. San Francisco was the first, and then Austin was the second. And whether we're the 3rd or 5th or what have you, that's our goal, is for Dallas to become a no-kill city. And a no-kill city is defined as when that shelters are euthanized, as far as the dogs that they're euthanizing in shelters, is less than 10%. So, and basically they're not euthanizing for space or anything like that. It's injured dog comes in that might have been hit by a car or something like that, and just it's for humanitarian things, that kind of thing. But that's our goal, is for Dallas to be a no-kill city.
What does that take? What kind of legislation? How do you go about doing that? It sounds like you guys are already in the works.
So there's 2 different sides to that. One side is the rescue side. Shelters being better apt at adopting dogs out, and rescue organizations like Paws in the City taking dogs in, taking care of all their medical, making sure they end up in the right home. Where it's in our adoption contract that we'll take back any dog, no questions asked. We want to make sure that any dog that we place in a home, or any dog that enters Paws in the City, is taken care of. Excuse me, there's the whole rescue side of that, right?
Yeah.
But there's another side that's even more important, and that is spay and neuter. So that is the proactive side, being proactive, because rescue is very reactive. There's always there's emergency, a shelter's over full, or there's a dog that's injured, sick or injured, needs out of the shelter immediately to a vet. It's all reactive. But spay neuter programs are very proactive. And in 2014, we started they're saying Gatsby. And in 2014, we started a spay neuter program where we do free spay and neuter in low income and high stray areas. And that's had a big impact. And we'll typically do 100 to 130 in a day. And it has a huge impact on what we do. But it's called Fixin' to Save is the name of the program. And it's, like I said, it's helping out there's the whole educational part of people, please spay and neuter your pets, right?
Yep.
And
the old Bob line.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a lot of people don't realize is that not only is it the right thing to do, but there's also a medical benefit. Dogs are healthier if you do spay and neuter them, and there are certain types of cancer that they're more prevalent to get if you don't spay and neuter your pets. So it's a very important thing to do, and it's also good for the health of your pet. And then what we're trying to do is for areas and people that maybe financially can't afford it or need help in doing that, or the high stray areas, we're helping to do that.
Okay. Yeah, and I know my 3 rescues, the facility where I adopted them from took care of that. So,
yes.
Yeah, and I know when they do their free adoption every year, City of Dallas, a lot of times that's included and covered, which can be, I don't know, you help me out, $80, $120, what they might normally charge to do something like that.
Yeah, it's a little bit more for female dogs than male dogs, because it's a little more involved in on a female dog, which is when you're doing a spay. But that's kind of in the range of pricing. It's going to be, like I said, it's more than that for a spay. A neuter is going to be probably in that range.
Okay. Looks like we got a question from Doug there on what's the Paws in the City PayPal. Is it easiest just to go to the website, Mark, and go through that donation button on the website?
Yes, and we do take all major credit cards. PayPal's just our processor, but we take all major credit cards.
Okay. I hope that helps you out there, Doug. Go to their websites under donations. You should be able to go in there and make a donation. You should, if you want to as well, you can go to our event on our Facebook page, and there's a donate feature there as well. And we'll make sure that 100% of that makes it to Paws in the City as well. So a couple of features or options there for you, Doug. Thanks for asking. All right. So you've got the big show this weekend, and obviously things are opening back up. What's next? What do you have in the works for Paws in the City after the big Johnny Solinger show this weekend?
Well, we're hoping to kind of get back to full blast, where we'll be running our Pups and Pints event at Deep Ellum Brewery, and we also have brewery events at Three Nations Brewery, and we have a beer called Perspective that there it is, which is more of a spring, summer, fall type of beer that very refreshing beer that where a percentage of every of Perspective that's sold is goes to Paws in the City. And that beer, when it's not brewed in the winter, but when it's brewed the rest of the year, it can be found at Total Wine and More and all the different specs and all the major kind of stores that handle craft beers. So as well as going up to the brewery, Three Nations Brewery, and buying it from the brewery. But things like that. I mean, I love our brewery events. I love our live music events, fundraisers at restaurants, bars, our type of thing, restaurant, bar, and grills, where there's a nice dog-friendly patio. We have so many partners, and we're looking forward to doing that all over Dallas again. I mean, we've always been known to be creative on I love being creative on finding new places to do it that are just dog friendly places. So
they'll do happy hour, right?
Yes, Thursday yappy hours.
And it's like the dogs knew. It's like in the background they knew it was their moment.
Yes, yappy hours.
That's awesome.
Where is that? Or does it vary?
We love those yappy hours.
That's where Mike and I first tried that Perspective beer. It's really good.
Got you the beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great spot, actually.
We did that one was at a Craft and Growler, right?
Yes.
Yep,
Yes, it was.
Okay, so the happy hour, the yappy hours move around. So it could be in different parts of Dallas, Fort Worth, different areas.
Absolutely.
Okay, I have to keep an eye out on that. So what's something you would tell our listeners? I mean, what can they do to help you, to help Paws in the City? We've talked about events. We talked about donations. How do we get the word out? What's the best way to promote what you do and what you offer?
Sure. Well, we have our show, which I know we'll plug more here before we end. But we have that coming up Saturday. But from an overall perspective, I know you're asking from an overall perspective. And there it is, this Saturday night. Johnny Solinger will be headlining along with Lowside, Intercore, Bull by the Horn, and Mile Zero. So it's going to be a really good show at Trees. And a lot of us have just been starving for some live music, and that's just a really great lineup. So
I can't wait.
I know you got your guitar all warmed up, I bet.
Yeah. all one of them.
Yeah. All one of them, right?
Yeah. Will that be the debut of the purple one?
I don't think she's coming out that night.
She's not ready yet, huh?
She's kind of a case queen. She's if I plan on having too good of a time, I don't really want to take her out, you know.
Okay, I can appreciate that.
Yeah, Amy's like, yeah, I'm in the same boat there.
I was almost mad that he didn't want to bring the purple out, but if that's the case, she can stay with Kate.
Sticking with the red, white, and blue, huh?
Yeah. I think I'll be mostly. I have a new white one too, so I'll probably be sticking to mostly white.
Of course you do.
2020 was not a good year for everyone except for Mike. He got
In his guitar collection.
six new guitars, right, Mike?
Oh, why do we have to go there?
Dang.
Make me feel bad.
Jeez.
Yeah, I did all right.
Yeah, you did okay for yourself.
Let's just say there was a lot of deals I couldn't turn down.
2 were given to you,
It's
right?
true. Yes, 2 were
You
given.
can't really even count those then.
I can't count this.
So-
Really, it's just 4. Just 4. And so if you think about that, that's only one every like 3 or 4 months. That's not
Yeah. It's a quarterly thing. It's like a subscription thing, you know? Everybody does it. So, Mikey, what can the fans expect Saturday night from Intercore?
Well, we again, we are so everybody needs to know that any merch that they buy from us at our merch table, from Amy actually, that we'll be donating half of that to Paws in the City, which please do that because poor musicians need some help doing some good things. So hopefully we'll sell lots of those. We've got the koozies, Paws in the City koozies that we've got. Have Intercore on one side, Paws in the City on the other. So get a couple of those. And again, it's for a great cause. We're excited. Johnny Solinger is amazing. He is my guitar teacher, was actually guitarist for him for many years. So I've been really looking forward to playing with him. And then again, Low Side, those guys are awesome. Hang out with them all the time. And amazing musicians. So looking forward to that and looking forward to seeing, what the other guys do. So
any new music, anything? We've got that new drummer guy back there that
So yeah, we have a new drummer, and we're definitely going to be throwing some different stuff out there. You don't know what you shouldn't expect. You shouldn't think you know what to expect.
Have you guys nailed down that Party in the USA cover yet?
Absolutely.
Just nice.
That one's going down. That one's going down.
I want that, and I want a Who Let the Dogs Out from you guys. That's all. That's all I asked for.
I'm not sure you're ready for that one, man. I'm not sure you're ready.
Oh man. So
we got good stuff coming. It's we do have a great cover we're gonna do. I think it's gonna get everybody hyped up, and we get it. I think we're gonna play probably around 45 minutes, so we're gonna have a good set, and we got to get it hyped up for Low Side and Johnny. So we're looking forward to doing it.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I'm sure the place will be jumping. Everybody's just chomping at the bit to get back out to a live show and hear some music. So that is awesome. So, Mark, we've got the banner running across there, pawsinthecity.org. Is that the best place? I know we've already kind of highlighted. That's the best place to find out more about you guys. I do see you on Facebook, and you do some of these fundraisers, it seems like, on Facebook, where there's a donate feature for maybe a dog that needs surgery, or maybe it's a mange type situation. Where's the best way, or where's the best spot to learn more and keep up with you guys?
Well, pawsthecity.org, our website, and and you'll also, you were asking about how can you help. There's donations, there's volunteering, and there's fostering. So, and not everybody. We have some volunteers. I mean that most of our volunteers have lots of dogs, right, and lots of cats, and what have you. But we have a handful of we have some volunteers that don't have dogs. And the reason is that maybe they travel all week, and they so it's just they're in a point of their life, right now, because of whatever's going on, that they can't have dogs at the moment. Not as many people are traveling all week like it was, but you still have consultants and different people that do that, and so they get their dog fixed by volunteering with us. But anyway, those are kind of the 3 axes, like volunteering, fostering, and donating. There's always something to do, and then that's our website. But also you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Our Facebook page has over 405,000 followers, so it's quite a a page to follow, and then and I highly recommend it, of course. But I mean, but it's a good page to follow. And then our Instagram is a very fast growing. It's just been growing a lot in the last year.
Excellent.
And, there's a message from Doug. Thank you, Doug.
Absolutely. Glad you're tuned in, Doug. So you mentioned volunteers. What does that entail? Do you basically go in and, advise when you're available? You guys aren't doing like background checks, are you?
No, we don't.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you'd make it through, Brad.
Yeah, I'm asking for a friend.
You'd make it through.
All right, good.
So volunteers, we are a 501c3 nonprofit. And as mentioned at the beginning of this, but we're all volunteer, no paid staff. So it's 100% all volunteer. And if you start volunteering with us, if you enjoy what you're volunteering for, great. And if at a certain point you decide you'd like to do something else, it's okay. People move around all the time, and some people volunteer 2 to 3 hours a week, and others volunteer 10 to 20 hours a week. And then we've got kind of a handful of us that are volunteering full-time 50 plus hours a week. So, and that's me. Yeah. And then I've got some really key volunteers that, they're full-time Paws in the City, and that's just amazing to me. They're full-time, but it's all volunteer.
Yeah.
Their full-time job is actually volunteering with us. And, like Stacy and Amy, for example, not Amy,
Not
as
our
but Amy Farmer and Stacy McCool. So, for example, we have, but they volunteer a lot of hours throughout the week, every day of every week.
So, Mark, I want to give you the opportunity. I know you've been giving us a lot of information, and I really appreciate that. Is there anything else you want to make sure that we're aware of, to make sure our listeners know about?
Just keep spay and neuter your pets.
There you go.
Make sure you do that. But the main thing is that I remember let me think, when I was 9-10 years ago, the kind of questions I was getting were like, how long should my dog be tethered, in the backyard, stuff like that. And it's 9 or 10 years later, and now the questions that we get are like on dog nutrition. Pretty cool. I think we've come a long way. We still have a long ways to go. We're still not a no-kill city, but we've come a long way. We just got to keep it up. Just keep moving forward.
Excellent.
I always like to say I love dogs. Dogs love people more than people love people. When you think about that, they really do. No matter what kind of day you have, you come home and there's somebody there to greet you.
Yep.
And if you've had a bad day, they work harder to get you to smile.
They tend to know. It's really cool.
Oh, yeah. They study us and analyze us, and they're just constantly trying to figure us out and make us happy. And make sure that we feed them, feed them treats. But other than that, they really want us to be happy. So that's pretty neat.
It is. So, Mike, Amy, I don't know if you guys had any additional questions.
No, I don't think any questions. I think it was very informative, and you do so much good stuff, and we just really appreciate that. We're excited that we were able to have you on as a guest, and I really like the new format of Deep Dallas Radio, where we're a little bit bigger than just about music, and it's more about the community, and that's kind of what we've always wanted to do, was to be a part of the community and bring everybody together, whether you're a fan or just somebody who lives in DFW or Texas for that matter. And so we hope everybody can watch this and wants to join in and help everyone out.
Absolutely. This is our first time closing things out here, Mark. So I don't know how we want to go about this. Normally, I have Amy to my left and Mikey to hers. So,
well, I just want to offer a thank you. I'll let y'all do the final closeout, but I do want to thank you guys for letting me be a guest on your show today. I'm honored to do that. I love all three of you are good friends of mine. So we have a great personal relationship, but beyond that, we also have a lot of things that we're trying to do, in terms of the community, and we all have kind of our different things that we're trying to contribute towards that. But thank you for having me on, and I really appreciate it. And you guys are doing really good stuff, and your new format is A+.
Thank you very much.
We're honored that we could have you as our first guest in this new format, and honored that you were even able to take the time out of your day. I know last night you didn't get home until late because you were doing Paws in the City stuff, and we're fortunate that you were able to take some time for us.
All right, I'll try not to be so grayscale next time too.
Yeah, we got to get you some color.
I'm very monochrome there.
I'll order you one of these ring lights on Amazon, Mark. That way we can.
That's awesome.
I even changed some lights and stuff in here. I'm gonna have to get out of the monochrome world here. So anyway, but it's definitely not your technology. Your technology is fantastic. And there's St. Gatsby. That's our that's our pet of the month. Our dog of the month. For Paws in the City. Good old St. Gatsby.
Beautiful.
All right. There you go. A handsome boy.
He's a handsome boy.
All right. I appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Mark, again, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for everything you do for our community. If there's anything we can ever do to help promote and support you beyond what we're doing, just let us know. So thank you so much. All right. Let's give this a shot, guys. Thanks for tuning in tonight, everyone. Stay tuned.
Stay local.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.